Next, we will hear from Andrea Nelson and Polk Gibbins with the Community Alliance. They will tell you what it is, what they do, and what interesting activities you might be involved in today.
And the microphone this year. Wow, the group just keeps getting so big. We have to have microphones. Okay. I got my phone here so I can see what time it is, so you won't have to cut me off. Hopefully I can just manage my own time. We'll see. Okay. Hello, my name is Andrea Nelson. I'm the Regional Director for ISU Extension and Outreach in Central Iowa. It's actually a place we call Region 13, and so Polk County is in that area. Polk, Dallas, Madison, and Warren counties to be exact. And I have Paul Gibbins here. You want to introduce yourself?
I suppose. Let's see, I'm Paul Gibbins. I'm the Executive Director for Polk County's Extension Office. And just, very happy to be here and happy to see the different populations being represented. That's just phenomenal.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't also, although he's not here, let you know that Dr. Chad Higgins, our Senior Program Director for ISU Extension and Outreach, has a major role in making sure that Extension and Outreach has responsibilities as part of the ISU For You premise, and his efforts in both advice and counsel and connecting the Community Alliance with student engagement with the college experience has been amazing. I'd also like to recognize Dr. Deb Sellers. She's here in the room, and she's provided us a wealth of support as we created the foundation for this Community Alliance. So thank you for being here. And then, did you see when Sherry said, some of you come in afterwards, how many people from the Community Alliance are here? A lot of community members are here, and you really deserve the most amount of thanks for every part of this next part of the presentation, because it's you. Thank you. It's you that's getting the work done. So let me tell you just a little bit of background. I promise not to be a total historian here, but just a couple of years ago, we were hosting, I can change the slide, I guess. We were hosting, oh, there you go, hey, thanks. We were hosting just community meetings, community informational meetings, to talk about what the ISU For You promise is. And we knew that in order for us to reach all the families in Moulton and King schools, that we would have to rely on our neighbors, rely on the people in the community to tell that story. They would know, they have direct contact with families. And so we started doing informational meetings, and as out of that came a plan for us to put together a community alliance. And an extension, and in this community, we knew that if we connected youth and families to formal and informal education, it would be important for cultivating a special bond for the families and for education and school in the future. And so now I'm proud to say that we did develop a community alliance that there are 36 community organizations that are a part of. And I think that's pretty amazing. So why a community alliance? This is the funny part of the presentation. You see, if you've been here the last couple of years, we've had tables. So I actually brought an activity, and so Paul's going to help me. You may want to just have a couple of people, like one person in a row, like help do this activity, perhaps. And like, if you have a chair, I would use the chair as a table next to you, maybe. So we're gonna just do this cute little metaphor that I thought would just be so cute. Okay. So, oh yeah, I should have, well, I didn't ask Kayla or Sherry about what we were at this time. Okay. So, have any of you done the Skittles experiment before? Maybe you've seen it before. Is it like this, right? Oh, shake your head. Okay. So this is just a 2-minute experiment, but I think it's really fun because it is a perfect example of what this Community Alliance is about. Everyone is going to get a plate, which I kind of reference to being the space where we can meet, or perhaps the table where this discussion occurs. The Skittles you have are like the community organizations, and they're different colors because they're all different, but they do all have a unique interest in mind, which is for the betterment of the youth and families in the neighborhood. And the water in this experiment is the creation of a safe space where we can share ideas, and then something magical will happen. So, you have I would just use, you can just do one. It might work especially well if you take your agenda and turn it upside down so you see the white part, and put your plate on top of it, because it looks nice when there's high contrast here for color. And if you would take your Skittles, you won't need all of them, so maybe you can have some for a tree, I don't know. And you just need to create a circular ring around the inside of the plate. So if you can make a ring of Skittles on your plate. Doesn't have to be perfect, just a ring, yep. That will work perfect, doesn't have to be perfect at all. So do you have a ring? Okay, so this is a really good example over here. So you guys are doing great. Do you have you did a good job. So if you feel so inclined, and would you open up your water, and you only have to put enough water to be a small shallow pool in the bottom of the plate. Okay, so just pour to the center. Keep pouring until you have a pool that covers the bottom edge of the plate. There you go, that's perfect. And if you wait and see what happens, ooh, this is gonna be fancy. We have some very creative people that are in here, thank you very much. Oh, no, we need a little bit more. You're gonna need to cover the bottom of the plate. Keep going. You're doing good. All right, that's perfect. And then if you wait, oh great, you're doing your experiment. Angela's all into experiments, she likes science. You're doing it right. And you just need to add water. Yep. And then something's happening. Ooh! It's working. You see something happening on your plate? By the way, do you notice that kids and adults like this experiment? So you can use this at home, okay? So what are we seeing happen on the plates? What do you see happening? What'd you say? A diffusion. Ooh, such a scientific term. I love how they'll say it. So we're creating kind of a rainbow of colors. All these ideas are coalescing.
Can't move it or it's mixed.
Every one of those ideas is important, but it takes a lot of us to create something special. It's kind of nice to create a little bit of art here in this gallery room, wasn't it? So feel free, once you've seen the reaction, I don't really want to create a big mess in here. Sherry, I want you to get your deposit back, okay? So we'll go around with the trash can and we'll pick up your experiment from you. But it's kind of neat, huh? What do you think? Right? Do you think that's successful? You like it? Like that? That's beautiful? Your kids will love that too. Okay, and feel free to have the rest of the candy. Oh, you're such a good sport. Thanks so much for... Yeah, just take a picture. You can take a picture so it'll last. Oh, I think Mark's ready to throw away. Okay, great. Well, I hope that activity was somewhat helpful. Not all of us have the opportunity to be at the Community Alliance It's really been a special experience. We woke him up, Sherry. We also took a break. We woke him up. Okay. If you allow me, I'm going to continue so we can stay on time here. But what I wanted to tell you about was when I was here a year ago, I was telling you about we knew we were putting together a community alliance, and we had put together about 18 months ago, just prior to last year's conference, a steering committee. And this steering committee was made of community members. They were Mary Daly Lane from United Way, Janelle Mueller from CFUN, Cameron Nicholson from the Grub YMCA, and Aaron Valerio Garso, who worked for Inwood Housing and then later here at Iowa. And they were all very involved members of the community, and they really helped us come up with what does the structure look like. They were amazing. And more so, what they did for us is that they helped us nominate and oversaw an election of our first Community Alliance Executive Board. And we have some members of the new board that are here. Martha McCormick, Cynthia Hanafa, Janelle Mueller, and Billy Stone. Again, other members of the community that were elected by their peers to help lead this effort of starting the Community Alliance. And I was indebted to these members as they met with us almost every month to help us envision what does the Community Alliance look like and what can it accomplish. And so we created a time for committees. And they were in the areas of student and family and communities and events. But after we got started, we realized inadvertently that our committees were beginning to duplicate their efforts. And probably because great minds think alike, but in an effort to keep from accidentally duplicating efforts, we decided to make two work groups. So the Student and Family Engagement Work Group and the Community Engagement Work Group. This is a picture of one of them. Jolanda there is starring as Kayla and Carla Lagon. And these different work groups, these two different work groups then met in various places around the community, but now we have a regular meeting that's the first Wednesday of every month that we hold after the Des Moines Public Schools holds their community conversations meeting. And it's really helpful because there's so many partners in the room, it's great for them to be able to stay. And we have enough room at that location to meet either in individual work groups or meet as a one group as a community alliance. So I really appreciate the success we've gotten there. And I think we go one more slide then. You'll see, I wanted to show you some of the priority areas that the work groups have come up with. So probably the most meaningful, I think, to a lot of the families is going to be these college visits for young families. As you heard Katie talk about in her intro, I mean, ISU for You Promise is an early commitment promise program. Our students know at the end of elementary school, not the end of high school like a lot of promise programs, at the end of elementary school that they are eligible for a tuition award. At the same time, we know that it is seriously important for us to create a family-centered goal about attending college. A student won't be successful without the family support. And I think our families want to support their students, but they may not know about Iowa State University. And so it would be great if we can get students and their parents or adult caregiver to come to campus and see what it's like. And so they can help them formulate what do they want to do when they get here, what they want to do for their future. And so we would like 8th and 9th grade families to come to campus and experience it. There will be times when the families are together, and there will be times when there are parents are in an information session and the youth are doing some other hands-on activities. And we're looking forward to working later. I see Wendy's here, right? Wendy, we're working together to try and accomplish that yet this 2018. And so that's one of their most important goals. We also have a number of people in this room that are working on family finance workshops. Families, of course, want to know, even if you have a 100% tuition award, how do you afford college, right? And so our friends in financial aid and our friends in the Community Alliance, a lot of us have experience with how do you afford college through either tuition, through other grants and awards, or also then of course there's books and there's lodging, and so do you need to work, or how much do you need to save? And we have great friends over at the Iowa Student Loan that have put together a great app for our students to actually convert their awards, in their percentage award, into a dollar figure for the future. So it's really helpful information, trying to get them some applicable information for how do you afford college. And then, of course, we have student and family development programs. All the community organizations were already doing youth development and family development programs. We like to identify and promote the organization's work already. We also have about 10 extension specialists in 4-H youth development and in human sciences extension and outreach that have been providing education to this neighborhood as well over the past year. We are specifically trying to provide and support activities at school-based events. Last year, and coming up again this year, there's a college night where we talked about summer opportunities that you could do through the different community organizations. We also have some youth leadership opportunities. One of the specific ideas is that our Community Alliance wants to support our middle school youth. We know that there's a lot of great supports that are in King and Milton schools, but the kids do grow up, right? And we want to make sure that the transition years in middle school, which is a tough time, is still a successful time for our students. So youth leadership opportunities for them, and then role models from the community. Told a great story about students that knew they would be going to Iowa State. Some of those students we have will be attending this upcoming next year. We also have some students from the community that are already here. They weren't part of the promise, but they're already here, and they lend us their time and efforts regularly. And the community has determined that that is essential for telling the story about why it's important to go to college. And then, of course, in this picture off to the side, I wanted to tell you that in Extension, we're also promoting, this is a pilot project, and so Dr. Sellers and I went to the National Urban Extension Conference and presented a poster on how the IC4U Promise has been a vehicle for community engagement. Finally, I want to say that I love the flow chart you came up with. Actually, I'm going to try to go back to it, even though it's not mine. I'm going to steal it now. No, which way am I going? I'm going the wrong way. Katie had put up a flow chart, and on that flow chart, it showed some short and medium and long-term outcomes. If you look at the bottom of the screen here, it talks about the Community Alliance and other family-focused events here will be providing wraparound messaging and supports for short-term outcomes that would lead to family and community reinforcements for the success of our students to get to college, and then of course, eventually, of course, career success, earning potential, and transformation of the King and Milton neighborhoods. And I think that's pretty amazing. I couldn't agree more. I loved your chart, and so I felt like it was important to go back to it. I think that every one of us believe that wholeheartedly. Final slide. And it is our hope that we can continue to formulate ideas and solidify our foundation, and that we'll be able to educate others on how to replicate these ideas for successful projects like this in other communities. So that's all I have. If I'll take any questions, if you have questions about the Community Alliance, let me know, but that's the presentation. Yeah. Anyone else here?
Are you finding that there are sufficient role models within the communities who have had, let's call it post-secondary education, that can mentor these youth?
So we have outlined a few, actually looking at Jean now too, because she even just told me about her grandson who's a student here at Iowa State. So we have a few right now. Then this next year, we're already expecting to have about a dozen more students that will be serving in mentor roles in the future. So as the cohorts get older, it will be easier. It's tougher now than it will be later.
But the professional who's already gone through college? Would you go back to college?
So we do have some students that are, we've only so far looked at, I would say, current students. Some of them are seniors that are going to be ready to graduate, but we could probably also look at professionals in the field, sure, that have come back. That would be a good area for us to look for mentors as well. I think that the Community Alliance's goal was to use young students as their mentors because they felt as if they could still speak their youth language. That's a great question. And okay. Well, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you. Of course, you can always find us the first Wednesday of every month. You don't have to RCP, you can just show up. We are at the DuMont Public School Community Conversations meeting. We meet immediately afterwards. But if you are here on campus and you just want to find out more about it, or if you're in the community and you want to be at our regular meetings, by all means, please be a part of it. We'll welcome you to bring a chair to the table. So thank you very much.